All right, so here's the deal. I didn't want to open up a can of worms on Facebook. I normally try to stay away from controversial stuff, and I thought that just asking people to say a prayer for all of the student protests today of students walking out of high schools and stuff like that, just to say, you know what, this is happening. Let's say a prayer for their safety, for the police officers and the teachers and everyone involved to make sure that these kids are safe. I thought that would be pretty, easy to get behind. Well, I was wrong. Turns out I was wrong, and this was much more controversial than I ever wanted it to be. And my Facebook has been blowing up all day with people wanting to weigh in with their opinion of what is going on. And it seems like, that's what social media is, right? We're solving the world's problems one post at a time, and that's not what I was trying to do. My goal was, hey, let's cover this whole thing in prayer. At this point, right, this is already happening. To get on Facebook and say, well, this is what is wrong with the school system today, and there are many things wrong with the school systems today. But at this point, what does any of that matter? So I thought just saying, hey, let's pray for this. My wife tells me later that, what were you thinking? And I guess I was thinking, well, I want people to pray for this because I think it's something that we should be praying for if we value our kids and we want to keep them safe. Bringing God into the picture would probably be a good idea. But I guess, what do you guys think? I hesitate to even ask that. What do you guys think about the student walkouts today? I've seen, basically all that I've seen from this has been very positive, of a very deep and meaningful way to honor the people, the students and the faculty that died down in Florida, and also to think back of other school shootings that have happened. I thought it was a very nice way to honor those victims. But I've also seen other student bodies, student leadership come up with these plans of having one high school called it 20 seconds of courage to get out and to meet people and to make sure nobody sits alone at lunch, and to say hi to someone that they normally don't. And I've been preaching that. I call it, my favorite word, my kids know, is inclusion. And that's what that is. It's inclusion. It's including people in your life. And I think that that's very positive. But what do you think? All right, weighing in again here in my office. It's been a long day. Getting a lot of stuff done, getting ready for Bible class tonight. But I wanted to weigh in before, there's a couple weeks ago, I said that I was going to be reading a lot during my time. So I got done with my first book last night. I read a lot. Like I said, I'm a preacher, and so I read a lot of books. But as far as like I'm not teaching the class on mentoring or anything. I read books for classes. I read books for sermons all the time. But I wanted to read more, outside of the office. So this is the first book that I read. Let's see if we can get it in here. The Mentoring Church by Phil A. Newton. This was suggested to me by one of my friends who is he's a pastor of a Baptist church that is very close to my house. And he used to live next door, and so we have a friendship. But I visited him one day, and he recommended this book for me because mentoring. I'm big on mentoring. I would like to be able to mentor someone or people at some point in my life, and so I thought, you know what, I'll get this book so I know exactly how to do it. Sadly, it wasn't that good. At least I couldn't get into it. It was very academic. It was written like a paper instead of a book. if you know the difference. It was a little too high-minded for me. But I did get some things out of it, of being intentional, wanting to be intentional when you get interns or you get associate preachers or ministers in your congregation, of being intentional with how you are developing them. And the writer went into a lot of scripture, and he looked at different models of mentoring throughout the Bible and throughout history, which was great. But I think the main thrust of the book was, hey, we need to be mentoring, and I already know that. So I think a lot of it was kind of wasted on me, because I already had the willingness to want to mentor someone, and really the how to do it I got in the last chapter. But it was a good first entry into this reading extravaganza. And if you want to ask me questions about it, please don't hesitate to reach out. All right, what is happening? I'm hearing voices down here.
It hasn't been invented yet. What is it?
Those are my lines. Those are my lines.
What are you guys arguing about?
Nothing. Go.
Go away.
No, I want to come in and hang out with my daughters.
No, that's my stuff. That's my stuff.
Locked down in here. Ava.
Go.
Okay.
You start.
So, here we are. What are you working on?
School.
Obviously.
Yeah, obviously. I'm working on math.
Working on math. So sometimes, or I guess most Wednesdays, the two older girls come into the office with me, because I normally come in later and I stay until Bible class. And so we kind of have the building to ourselves. But the girls are behind on their math. See, here's the deal. I don't like math. And Alicia doesn't like math. And what do you get when both of your parents don't like math?
A hatred of math.
A hatred of math. I know. We're basically abusing our children, teaching them that math is boring and terrible. But okay, Ava, I'm leaving. But the thing is let's talk about homeschool for a second.
Oh my goodness. Oh my god.
Talking about homeschool. Kids hate when I talk about homeschool. But, we've already brought up the whole schooling thing today anyways, and so I'm feeling controversial, so let's talk about it. Why would we homeschool when both Alicia and I aren't very good at math? Well, the thing is that we've had to learn. And even though I'm still not very good at math, and I still don't like it, I do it because my kids need me to do it. And so I want to say something, and don't take this the wrong way. Don't take this the wrong way if you are a public schooler. Just understand what I'm saying. One of my biggest pet peeves that I have when I talk to people about homeschooling is they say, "Oh, I could never do that. I could never do that. I could never do what you guys do." Or I agree that not everyone should homeschool. We've seen there's been articles in the news about people who homeschool, and this happens from time to time. They say that they're homeschooling and then they don't do anything, and their kids grow up to be even worse off and illiterate than the kids that are coming out of public schools these days. So, but I have an issue with that excuse of, well, I could never do that. Because really, what's that? That's saying one of two things, right? That's saying, one, that you aren't willing to learn something new for your children, and I don't think people are meaning that. Because we learn stuff all the time. As your kids grow up, that's just kind of a thing you have to do. You learn new things based on what your kids are going through, and how old they are. You think about sports, right? I have very little knowledge when it comes to volleyball. I mean, I know how to watch it and I know what a point is, but my girls are playing volleyball, and so I'm going to figure out and I'm going to learn some drills that they can do so they can get better at volleyball. It's just what we do as parents. And so this idea of, I'm not very good at such and such subject. Well, we can learn to get better. And so that's one option that you might mean by that of, I could never do that. And I don't think that's true. We learn stuff all the time. The second option is this idea of, if my kids were around me all day, I would end up killing them. I hear that all the time. I'm like, if my kids, I need them to go off to school so they don't die. And I understand, I mean, and that's funny, right? Nobody really means that, but you understand the sentiment of, parents needing their alone time and, getting the kids out of their hair. And trust me, I understand that. But then the thought comes to my mind of, what did they do before public school, right? Did we have this epidemic of parents killing children? No. And as Christian parents, we should be loving and valuing our children and trying to spend as much time as we possibly can, knowing that we are the number one influence in their lives. And so if you are a public schooler out there, I'm not saying that you should homeschool. What I am saying is, stop using this excuse of, I could never do that, because you could. And instead say, well, we are choosing to public school, and I would be okay with that. It's like, okay, if that's the road that you're choosing. See, the thing is that there's challenges both ways. Right? The challenges with homeschooling are such and such, and they are difficult, and they have merit. But then there's also difficulties when it comes to public school, and it's just kind of this idea of what challenges do you want to take on as the parent. And all right, rant over. You can comment about that too, I guess. We don't get comments on our videos. But this might be the one that sparks some conversation or debate. I hope so. Maybe this is what I have to do. I just have to talk about controversial stuff, and people will start commenting. Hopefully. All right. We'll check in later. All right. So we're back from Bible study. We're getting ready for bed. Just hanging out. We got Mom over here. Little So-So.
Hi.
What did you like about Bible study tonight, Sophia?
Your lessons.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Did you learn about forgiveness?
Yes.
Yeah. Forgiveness is hard sometimes, isn't it?
Mhm.
Do you forgive people?
Yes.
What about your brother and sisters?
Yes.
You forgive them?
Yes.
Even when they make fun of you? Even when they laugh at you? You forgive them?
You can get more than that.
I'm still practicing on that.
Still practicing on that?
Yep.
We all are. Well, anything you want to tell the vlog before we go to bed?
You stay focused out there.
All right. Well, I guess that's it then.